Hello, beloved, my dearly, dearly beloved friends. Today is the last day that we will, if you're watching particularly on the St. James channel, our last day to do Lectio Divina together. Now, before I begin, I want to remind you, Lectio Divina is something that you can do on your own. It's something worth doing on your own. It's predicated on the belief that you can hear what Spirit is speaking into your life right here, right now. It doesn't take any kind of deep scholarly knowledge of a sacred text. It is the opportunity to sit with a sacred text in small snippets, not try to rush to the end of whatever it is you're reading in that sacred text, but just two, three, a few verses at a time. A few sentences at a time, listening deeply for what Spirit may bring to your heart, to your mind. It requires a kind of openness, a trust that lets you let go of your preconceptions about whatever the text is that you're reading. It lets you say, Spirit, I know you want to speak into my life today through an image, a word, or a phrase that I'll hear here, or a pattern of words, perhaps. Whatever it is, you can hear Spirit speaking into your life. If you're open, it might be a word of encouragement. It might be a word of accountability, calling you to task. It might be an insight into who the divine really is, or who you really are. And it might be enough to break you open in ways you weren't expecting. Lectio Divina, sacred reading, is a time when Spirit surprises, catches us off guard, and perhaps speaks to us in ways we don't anticipate. If you're going to do it on your own, I have a way I recommend. If you can do it any way you want, it's up to you. But I like to read the text 3 times aloud, whatever the text is, whatever sacred text you choose for yourself. Perhaps you'll finish reading the book of Ruth on your own. I don't know. We're on verse 10 in chapter 3 today, just one verse. But you read it 3 times aloud, and you do that because it engages your whole person, not just your eyes, but your body, your vocal cords, your lungs, and your ears, your mind. All of those pieces are engaged in the text. All the texts, biblically, almost all the texts, there may be some exceptions, but almost all the texts were originally told aloud, heard aloud, before they were written down. Some of the letters might be an exception to that, but they were said aloud. They were meant to be heard as they echo in vibrations through sound. So today, as we listen for what Ruth might speak to us, remember, this does not have to be the end for you of your sacred reading. You can do it on your own. I believe in you. I believe in you. That's why we've been doing this together, sort of setting a pattern. It's a part of my regular pattern in my personal spiritual practice, but it can also be your pattern in your personal spiritual practice. Open you up to not just knowing about God, but learning to experience and know God in the moment, in the words. And who knows, as you begin to see God, see the Spirit in your sacred reading time, you might learn to see Spirit in all sorts of other places as well. That's my hope for you. That's my wish for you. So today, let's listen together. Catch your breath. Open your heart. I'll read the text only once aloud, just as a matter of time. I'll pause for a moment. You can certainly turn away if you wish. But at the end, after that pause, I will speak what I heard being spoken to me. Do with it what you will. It may speak something else to you. So I invite you to the long journey of a life steeped in sacred reading, if you will. You can begin at any time in your life, as often as you wish, to listen for spirit as a practice in your life. So let's listen today. What will Ruth chapter 3, verse 10 speak into our lives? Let me read it for us. Listen with your heart. Listen with your heart. May the Lord bless you, my child, Boaz replied. You have shown yourself even more loyal to the family than you did before. You could have sought someone younger, whether rich or poor. Rest easy, my child. I am more than willing to do what you ask. Everyone knows that you are a person of great character and integrity. Ruth has taken the instruction of her mother-in-law, Naomi. The two of them are, for Ruth, she's in a foreign land. She's left her home of Moab, and she's in Bethlehem with Naomi, her mother-in-law. All of their male connections are gone. Ruth's husband and father-in-law, Naomi's husband and two sons are dead. And so in this society, their access to the means of life is cut off unless they can find a man, a male, a brother, a cousin, father if they're still alive, someone who will take them in, someone who will provide access to the means of life without making any judgments on a society that is radically different than ours today. I listen to what Boaz says to Ruth. She has sought him out in the night on the threshing floor and offered herself as someone who would be a part of his household, his wife, and therefore provide for him, provide for her, as well as to provide for her mother-in-law, Naomi. They would both have access to the means of life. And this person, Boaz, this man, would have access to Elimelech's land that was left behind when Naomi and family left Bethlehem earlier in the story, went to Moab, and now have returned. And so they would carry on the story forward. As I listen to what Boaz says, I think he sees in Ruth something she has perhaps seen in him. And the implication in this story that I hear is it's all about character. Boaz says to Ruth, you could have chosen someone younger or richer to pursue as someone to be your kinsman redeemer, your protector. But you chose me. And I recognize that you could have had other choices, but you chose me. And I hear a sense in that of what it is to honor someone who chooses us for us. Chooses us for us. Have you ever been chosen for being you? So often we put on a front. We pretend to be somebody else. And people who choose us for the front we've put on, not for the person that's underneath, out of fear or the desire for self-protection, whatever it may be. we guard ourselves. And it's really hard to put ourselves out. It was in those days, and it certainly was today, to put our real selves out on the table. Because what if we're rejected for who we really are? It's one thing if you're rejected for who you pretend to be, but if you're rejected for who you really are, then that is really hurtful and makes us question our own value. Boaz sees that Ruth has chosen him, even though she probably had other choices available to her. She has chosen him for his qualities. And he has recognized in her qualities and mentions integrity and character. Integrity and character. And it seems like they both see in each other that integrity and character, that real self for who they are. It's not an act of desperation on Ruth's part. I don't get that sense, although I'm sure wanting to be safe and fed and cared for and have a roof over your head makes all the difference in the world. But it seems like the choice is made out of a sense of seeing each other for who they are. When I hear that, it calls me out. Once again, I do my best to be authentic in life. There are moments when, the patterns I learned as a child or as a young adult, the patterns of protecting, self-protection that came from hiding my real feelings, they arise, just like they probably arise for you. But I don't want them to be my primary foot that I put forward. What Ruth sees in Boaz and what Boaz sees in Ruth is a kind of character and integrity, an authenticity. That's what I hear. Hear the echo of authenticity in this, the call to be authentic, and it takes courage. It's not easy to be who you really are. Over and over again, I feel like Spirit has spoken into my life this truth that I pass along to you, and it can become a phrase that seems repetitive and perhaps you don't hear it for what it means, but it really is an invitation. Remember, you are infinitely precious and unconditionally loved for the gift you already are. You really are. You're a gift. And what's a gift is not who you pretend to be, but who you really are underneath the pretense, underneath the facade, the walls you hide yourself behind. That is a beautiful person, and it takes a great risk and great courage to share that person in your everyday life. I'd like to believe I succeed more often than I fail, and I'd like that to be the case for you as well. Take courage, my friend. Take courage from the story of Boaz and Ruth, who have, it never mentions love, but it certainly mentions deep respect for one another, a respect for who each is. And I hope for you that you will find people in your life, in this world, who love you, see you, respect you, because you're authentically you. So go and be you as much as you possibly can, as much as you can take the risk to be that person, because you were made to be you. There is no repeat of you. There hasn't been since the beginning of time, nor will there ever be another you. So express that deepest gift that you are in the way that you live and in who you are. And, learn from Ruth and Boaz. I wish you all the very, very best. Remember, you are infinitely precious and unconditionally loved for the gift you are. I hope you'll continue to find sacred reading meaningful in your life as you do it on your own. But even if you don't, you are still loved. Never forget that. Be the gift you are. Until the next time we shall pass or meet,